Also, explain to me, as we talk about this story, why it necessarily follows that if we provide unemployment benefits for people out of work, or we provide social, some other forms of social insurance, or we try to directly create jobs with government spending, why that necessarily means that government will overreach, like in this case, in the protection of property rights. This is an amazing story coming from Business Insider. U.S. government seized the domain of a small music blog a year ago. And by the government, I mean the Department of Homeland Security, and I think we talked about this, seized more than 70 domains without trial, accusing them of copyright infringement. You know, really where we see the government overreach, it seems to me, in two areas. In spying on Americans, security, and in the protection of property rights. Those are the two areas where we see the most government overreach, right? Where we see, the U.S. government forcing, let's say, genetically modified meat on foreign countries, using the State Department as a mechanism to do that. Or where we see the Department of Homeland Security overreach in protection of the so-called property rights involved in copyright. And I do mean so-called. One of the seized sites, thejazz1.com, was a hip-hop blog. According to techdirt.com, the feds had a list of a bunch of songs that were supposedly there without permission. But it turns out that the musician and reps actually asked the Jazz One to play their songs and to feature them. So under the law, the feds have 60 days to inform the owner of the seized property as to why they took it. The owner can then file a claim to ask for it back. Once that happens, the government has 90 days to explain why the owner should forfeit the property permanently. So the government missed the 90-day deadline. The owner couldn't see the extension, although that's what they assumed it existed, because all the documents are, of course, not available for an owner because they're a copyright infringer. They could be a terrorist for all we know. It went on like this for a year, and after a year, the government gave the website owner access to his website again. You know, the problem with having the government be so involved in protecting our property rights is that invariably they protect the property rights of the wealthier party. So I would ask libertarians, does that mean, because we know that you think that the response to government corruption by corporations is to shrink the government. Well, if we see in this instance that the government nearly always favors the wealthier property right owner over the less wealthy, should we maybe talk about amending the Constitution to not protect property rights? Wouldn't that follow? This is unbelievable, and I can't believe there's anybody out there who would support SOPA when you hear stories like this.